Welcome to How to Create Amazing Wealth by Investing in Real Estate. My name is Michael Kryton. You're watching Fuse Logic TV, and of course, the man at the helm of this process is Mr. Terry Paranych. And we've been talking about now for a couple of episodes about some of the ins and outs of investing in real estate. Maybe on this episode we can drill down a little bit and go through a bit of a process. Now, I don't know where we want to start. I mean, we can start where do people start where they are guaranteed that they're going to fail in investing in real estate?
Well, where they're going to start is not talking to somebody who's actually done it, somebody who's actually an expert. I remember, Mike, one of my first How to Create Amazing Wealth by Investing in Real Estate seminars. I was so excited and so passionate about sharing, what I did here in Alberta. Mm-hmm. We did a Talk to the Experts program on 630 CHED with Leslie Primo, and the phones went off the hook, and I was giving away a small little, let's say a booklet on kind of my real estate system on how to invest in real estate, how to create amazing wealth. Mm-hmm. And our phones went off the hook after the show, and I promoted a seminar 3 weeks out, and it was up at the Mayfield Inn, and we ended up, we booked a room for about 300 people, and it ended up there was nobody using the main banquet hall that night, so I've never seen so many hotel employees scurry to open up all the partitions, and we ended up having nearly 1,300 people at this particular event.
Wow.
But one of the things, and the reason I'm bringing up that event is because how many times have you heard people, they've gone to a seminar, they get a bunch of lip service, and they have to buy a bunch of, books and tapes, and we're not really sure that person conducting the seminar, and you've heard me say this over and over again, is qualified or credible. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that my real estate team and I did is we put up these big yellow placards of all of the properties that I own, including the titles, who the property's titled in, so everybody could walk around. So as I'm doing the seminar, I would show people, you don't have to believe what I say.
It's proof of the pudding.
Here's proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
These are all the properties I own. You can see that either it's titled in my name or my wife's name in my name or one of my company names, which all has the word Paranych in it. And the first thing I did was I established credibility as a seasoned real estate expert. So people really wanted to listen, and then they engaged in wonderful questions. They weren't intimidated, and that was the whole purpose, is to educate people how I did it. And that was one of the first things that I recommend, Mike, is because you can see these signs all over the place that, we buy homes for cash or great deal or something like that.
What about those signs that say we'll buy your home? Like, is that a good thing to do? Or
most of these people are bottom feeders. They're looking to buy your home at a greatly reduced price. Mm-hmm. And most of those are U.S.-based programs that they've bought, where you see you'll see the same classified ads in this section.
Well, so they're not necessarily local to that market.
No. These are most of the time these are people that are local that have invested in a program on how to buy your home for not a lot of money, so they can turn around and maybe flip it. So in most cases, if you're needing, or I even don't want to use the word desperate to sell your home, call a professional real estate agent, have them come and evaluate their home. They're going to put it on the multiple listing service. They're going to expose it to the greatest number of people, and they're going to get you the best price professionally, because you know what? You never have to sell your home in 24 hours.
Absolutely. Well, that takes us to the first step of what to look for in this case, in some cases, what not to look for. Okay, so I want to get into investment. I got to look for an investment. How do I look for an investment that's right for me?
Well, Mike, and again, and in several episodes we've talked about this, you need to sit down with a credible expert, somebody that's done it. In my case, I've bought hundreds of properties and own hundreds of properties. So you can sit down with somebody like me. I will identify your needs. I'll identify your financial situation. And the thing is, anybody can do this. And I mean, there's so many people out there that are probably, watching the show right now saying, well, I don't have a lot of money. I've always dreamt of investing in real estate. 20-some years ago, I had no money either. And, my dad never made more than $38,000 a year, and my mom worked at a nursing home. So I came from a lower income family, great parents, great family, but my dad was not a real estate investor. I found people who were experts and taught me. And that is what I'm saying for anybody watching the show today. We're hoping millions of you are watching the show, of course. That's what you need to do, is find somebody who's been there and done it.
You are watching How to Create Amazing Wealth by Investing in Real Estate with real estate expert Terry Paranych. I'm Michael Kryton. All right, so I found an investment that I think I like, but let's talk a little bit more about strategy. Let's drill down a little bit. Next step, what's the strategy here once I know?
Well, okay, once you find something you like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right property. First thing we need to identify is what I call its rentability factor. Much like selling a home, we identify the saleability factor of a property. We look at things such as upgrades to the property. We look at the location.
Right.
Does it suffer visible obsolescence? What does it look like from the outside? What is the location like? What's it like inside? And then most important, we evaluate its future potential rent, or its rentability. How much can I rent this particular unit for? So if it's a side-by-side duplex and the market value in that area is $1,150 or $1,200 per side, we then have to evaluate the purchase price versus the rental income, and we have to kind of create what's called the capitalization rate. And we need to look at this gross rental factor and identify, does this make sense? Does it provide a rate of return? Does it have some cash flow? And I have different philosophies on cash flow, because, often all you ever hear is, if the property doesn't cash flow, it's no good. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes you can buy a great piece of real estate where ultimately you're able to pay for that piece of real estate in 15, 16, 14 years. You can pay it off quickly, and there may only be $50 or $60 a month in positive cash flow. But that property is going up in value on a yearly basis, and it attracts the type of tenants that stay around. So you never have people that are leaving. So basically, I call it a set it and forget it property. It's just one of those properties that it runs itself. You've got your 12 post-dated checks, you put the money in the bank, and it's going up in value, and your mortgage is going down.
Well, something you said that I think makes a lot of sense is that a good property will attract a good tenant, which is half the battle when it comes to finding tenants, because a lot of people get into investing in real estate. First thing they say is, well, am I going to be up 24 hours in the middle of the night? I got a tenant I got to chase after. He's not paying rent. But you said before, if you find, if you match...
Mike, if you're going to buy a dumpy property in a not a good area, with all due respect, you know what type of tenant you're probably going to attract.
Right.
And Paranych rental communities, we try so hard, to provide safe, quiet, clean, affordable rental properties, and our model has been phenomenal. But we own a lot of apartment buildings in lower income areas. Matter of fact, an area that I grew up in. But what we did is we took those buildings and we spent money on them. We cleaned them up. We put new carpet in them. We upgraded the suites. We put new windows in them. And we found a lot of people wonderful homes. And these are people that maybe have been a little bit down on their luck, but they're good people. They have steady employment. They own their own car. They have decent credit, but they're just not the type of people that are ever going to end up owning a house, because maybe they simply can't afford it. But for the rest of their life, they can afford to pay $750, $800 a month in rent, and they call those units home.
And I can see that some people might get sort of blinded by the idea, well, if I get into investing in real estate, I'm going to want to buy something that's going to multiply in value as quickly as possible. You're watching How to Create Amazing Wealth by Investing in Real Estate with real estate expert Terry Paranych. By the way, if people do want to get a hold of you, because they can get a hold of you.
Well, they can call us anytime at 780-457-4777. That's 780-457-4777. And we'd be happy to sit down with them and explain where you need to start. But I will say this, Mike. I became wealthy in real estate relatively slowly. I mean, when I started just before my 21st birthday, by the time I was 28, I had enough real estate equity, where I was now a multimillionaire. But I took a lot of risks, some necessary, maybe some unnecessary. But I had an absolute unshakable belief system that I was going to stay on a path. And we've talked about in prior shows about flipping properties and how I had some fun and unique and challenging experiences with that. But at the end, I bought and held In other words, I haven't sold anything.
Turtle in fifth gear.
Turtle in fifth gear. I've simply stayed on the same path, going a little bit faster than normal, okay? But I stayed on the same path, and it's very, very easy to get off path. It's no different than somebody who's overweight that gets on a very successful weight loss program, but they want it overnight. They want it right now. And I mean, let's be honest, getting rich overnight almost never happens. You get the odd person that gets lucky and buys a lottery ticket, or you had some of these great technology or internet success stories a few years back. But the truth is, investing in real estate is a wonderful journey. And if you buy the right type of real estate, and I had a fella many, many years ago when I was a young man said, Terry, if you do one thing, and this is when I started selling real estate, he said, if you do one thing, buy at least one piece of real estate every year. Become your own best client. And I said, well, what do you mean by that, Merv? I said, I don't understand. He said, just buy one piece of real estate. You don't have to buy 2 or 3. Right. So I've taken this principle with my real estate investors, buy one piece of great real estate every year, despite what the market is doing, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, okay? Buy one piece of real estate, and the way real estate appreciates, you become very, very wealthy.
Well, it's amazing how fast things can happen. I mean, we don't
Overnight,
realize how fast
sometime.
5 years go. Let's move down and drill down just a little bit more, okay? I want to buy that property. Now, as a new investor. Now, things I have to consider that, I'm going to have to make some investment in fixing the place up, whether it's cleaning the yard and some landscaping or doing some interior, like you said, replacing carpets, painting, that kind of thing. So I have to take into account that there's going to be some capital I got to look at as well. Now, I'm going to go in and make an offer on a house. What kind of strategies do we put in play at that point?
Well, it all depends on the property, the investment property. And so if we've identified that we want to buy this piece of real estate, let's go buy it. Let's not, as we said in previous shows, it's not about if the property is priced correctly based on comparable properties. Let's say it's a side-by-side duplex and it's for sale for $379,000. Both sides are in decent condition. We've evaluated the upgrades. We've evaluated the numbers. Well, let's go and let's go buy it. We may offer $360,000, $365,000. And let's say we buy it for $370,000. We buy it $10,000 off the asking price, and give or take $5,000. And now we've purchased the property. We then have a checklist as to what we're going to need to do. Sometimes you don't need to do anything, but sometimes you may have to spend a couple of $1,000s per side. And if you don't want to do the painting yourself, I have a whole list of strategic partners who are painters, plumbers, electricians, jack of all trades. I have a few of them. I have a retired shop teacher who's amazing. Loves to go out and work for $15 an hour, and this guy can fix anything. Well, all of a sudden, then you get these properties ready.
Right.
Then what you do is you advertise them in the proper advertising mediums to attract the good tenants, and away you go. And then we go through a selection process. It's very simple.
Well, we're coming close to the end of the show, and I just want to find out from you, I guess, the tips. It seems to me at the very tip of it, as a matter of fact, at the tip of the tips, is really talking to someone who's done it. And that's the thing that I find most valuable, is that what you've talked about is that you have done it. You have bought property and hung on to it. You are the proof of the pudding, if you will. And that's everything from commercial to like I say, real estate in terms of residential condos and so on.
Mike, I've had good parts of my real estate portfolio have more than tripled in value in the last 10 to 12 years. As a matter of fact, my entire portfolio has doubled, more than doubled in the last 10 years. As a matter of fact, our market here in the Edmonton area is up 203%. So again, as we move forward in the Create Amazing Wealth by Investing in Real Estate series, we're going to talk about cash flow or paying them off quicker. Because in some cases, cash flow isn't necessarily king. Now, many of the real estate experts will disagree with me on that. But you know what? I have proven this system works. I am not saying cash flow is a great thing. It's a must in some situations, but not all of them. So we're going to discuss all these things as we move forward.
How to create amazing wealth by investing in real estate. If you want to know more and would like to talk directly with Terry Paranych, you can at 780-457-4777. That's 780-457-4777. You've been listening to real estate expert Terry Paranych. You have been watching How to Create Amazing Wealth by Investing in Real Estate here on Fuse Logic TV. I'm Michael Kryton.